after the game, it's the aftermath. Win or lose, we still wave our commander's flag. Riding with Wentz under center, making the pass. Jahan Dotson, young rookie, making a splash. That burgundy and gold, that's what we about. Jonathan Allen knocking QBs to the ground. We die hard and nobody can shut us down. Cause this is the greatest show in town. Let's go. Go, 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 go.
What's good, Washington Commanders fans? All right, I'm bringing you a couple of updates from today, day 2 of the tampering period of free agency, which it officially starts tomorrow at 4 o'clock. One particular note that the Washington Commanders fan favorite Taylor Heinicke has signed a deal with the Atlanta Falcons, 2-year, $20 million. It all breaks down in different incentives, bonuses, and stuff like that. I think he gets $4 million up front, the 6 and other signing bonuses or whatnot. But nevertheless, Taylor Heinicke, he's been with us for a minute. We already know his story and everything. I am not going to go through a whole lot with him and everything. He got his spark against Tampa Bay in the playoffs. When he made his name for himself, he served as a backup, in 21 under Fitzpatrick. Then this year he led us. He has a 7-8 record in 15 starts, throwing for over 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, which that's the knock on him is the turnovers. But he also rushed for 300 yards and 1 score. Nevertheless, Taylor Heinicke, he took over for us in week 7 when Carson Wentz was sidelined with a finger injury. We was 5-3-1 at that time, but we lost to the Giants twice and the 49ers, and eventually the team went back to Carson Wentz, and we suffer a bad loss to the Browns. And, the chance for Heinicke for him to come back in the game, but it didn't happen. But, there was some rough back there because Taylor Heinicke felt like he should have never gotten taken out in the 49ers game, and led to him and Ron Rivera not being on the same accord. But apparently seems like they wanted Taylor Heinicke back with the team for that veterans presence. I think the Commanders did offer him a contract, but they was pretty much outbid by the Atlanta Falcons. But Taylor Heinicke is from Atlanta. We'll probably see him again. Maybe he'll play. He'll start for the Falcons, and when we play them this year. But kudos to Taylor Heinicke. He bet it on himself. He got paid. He did everything he could for us. He got us in positions and stuff, but it was never enough. The offensive line has been bad all season. So with that being said, that is one domino effect. Now moving on, the Commanders part ways with offensive coach John Matsko. He's 72 years old. He's been in the NFL since 92. He's been Washington's offensive line coach in 2020. He has been with Ron Rivera since he took over for head when Ron Rivera was at the Carolina Panthers in 2011. But nevertheless, Ron Rivera informed him today that they were moving in another direction. And precisely, Eric Bieniemy knows what he wants. He's getting the pieces there. And by signing 2 offensive linemen yesterday in free agents, the legal tampering period of free agency, you pretty much knew that they had to make some changes to that offensive line, and they had to make a change to the coaching staff, because you need somebody in there that is going to do the things that they need to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's too much. I don't need to say about him. I mean, our offensive line struggled all last season. It struggled really bad. We had pieces here and there, in and out the whole time. And we never, I mean, the best part about the offensive line, they was able to run block pretty well versus pass block. You know, you got to think, go back to the game against the Eagles when Carson Wentz played and he got sacked 9 times in that game. You know what I'm saying? He got sacked a bunch of times against Dallas. I mean, so forth and so on. I think Carson Wentz, he was sacked like 22 times total that year, last year. And then when Taylor Heinicke came in, Taylor Heinicke didn't get sacked as much, but he was able to move around a little bit more here and there. So with that being said, I think that Washington made the right choice. After, we had to replace Brandon Sheriff. There was so many other things that was going on with this team, and we couldn't get the team right for nothing in the world. We was doing this, we was doing that, we doing this and doing that. So it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard for this team to really get things moving in the right direction. But now that Ron Rivera turned everything over with Eric Bieniemy, you definitely could see that there are going to be a little bit more changes throughout the season. I think it's going to be more. I really do. I think it's going to be more changes before the season starts. I think we're not done in free agency. I think we're still looking for pieces and probably now a backup quarterback, say the least, and everything like that. So, I mean, he served his purpose. Now it's time to move on in another direction. That's all it is. Also, running back J.D. McKissic, he's been released also. And now the report said that he was released because he failed a physical designations due to a neck injury he dealt with since 21. But I already knew that J.D. McKissic was pretty much going to get released anyway. So rather they was not going to keep him because the fact of the matter is he's been getting injury prone. He's been with us for 3 years. He did sign with Buffalo last year before reneging and coming back to the Washington Commanders, and then end up getting hurt. That's when we drafted Brian Robinson, and then we still had Antonio Gibson at the time. So, but nevertheless, McKissic, he was good for us. He took the tough yards. He was very good out the backfield. He served as a third down and a change of pace back. But, he was just one of them rare talents that, just couldn't stay healthy. Saying that just reminds me when we had Chris Thompson, when we were using Chris Thompson the same way. Chris Thompson couldn't stay healthy. And eventually we had to get rid of him. And I loved myself some Chris Thompson back then. I loved Chris Thompson at the time. But McKissic was a great receiver. He did a lot for us. He really did. He did a lot for us. He was great pass protecting, for us. So that we missed that a lot when he got hurt because that could have helped us out a little bit. He played 35 games in the 3 seasons. He had 10 starts. He rushed for 672 yards, 3 touchdowns, finished with 150 receptions for over 1,000 yards. In multiple games, his first 2 seasons, he scored critical touchdowns with the game winning against the Atlanta Falcons. So, but unless that, but like I say, J.D. McKissic he just was one of them guys that you love, man. He fought hard. He did the things that he needed to do and everything like that. I just hate that if he didn't get injured, the Commanders could have probably do a lot more. Eric Bieniemy probably would have been able to do a lot more with him, you know what I'm saying? And they probably wanted to try to keep him, but like I said, J.D. McKissic, he's injury riddled now. You know, you don't know if he's going to stay healthy. So, but like Taylor Heinicke, he will be missed by fans. You know what I'm saying? And as sometimes, you know, it all plays out that you have to move on. You really got to move on. You can't just sit there and just say, hey, you know, it's what it is. So my thing is that, you know, J.D. McKissic, I wish him well. And by releasing him, the Commanders saved $1.2 million by releasing him. So I think we not done releasing. I think Logan Thomas is going to release. I think there could be a release for Kendall Fuller also, or restructure for Kendall Fuller. I think we're going to have a couple more. I think they might restructure Curtis Samuel's deal, you know, to free up some money so they can make a play. I still think they might go for Orlando Brown still. I think that's something they probably exploring also for the offensive line. So you never know what. I mean, there's been rumors about Eckler, you know, wanting to trade and we in the mix for him. I don't see that, but we never know. We never know what direction we're going into because this is different from any free agency year that, you know, we really addressing needs. You know, people got us out there grabbing Lamar Jackson and all of that stuff. And Washington is not going to go for Lamar Jackson. Sorry. You know, for all y'all Washington fans that want Lamar Jackson, we're not getting him. We putting pieces together that needs to be filled for the first time on this team. This team is going to look like a real team, a whole team, you know what I'm saying? And a competitive team, you know, going into the season. So, with that being said, you know, I wish J.D. McKissic and Taylor Heinicke well, but in life, you got to move on. You know, it's like a relationship. You got to move on from a relationship at some point in time. You can't stay with the same relationship. It's not going to work out, you know, especially if it's not doing what you expect for it to do. Now, one last tidbit is we know that Danny Johnson he signed back on a 2-year deal with us. So now we sent the qualifying offer to restricted free agent Jeremy Reeves, who made the Pro Bowl this year, which I wish they just sign him. But by giving him this deal, any team that tries to sign him, we can match it. Now, if he decides to leave, we do not get any compensation for him whatsoever. So if people thinking we're going to get a draft pick for him if he leaves, no, we're not. So, but he was the team special teams player. He's been with us for 5 seasons. He emerged as one of the best. Now he's a veteran. He's a Pro Bowl. He earned his first all pro recognition last season on the special team. So he has been grinding, you know what I'm saying? He has been grinding. So I think McKissic will be doing a lot of things. Now, also by releasing J.D. McKissic, Washington does they are under 20 million. They have 20 million still available in the cap. So that means, honestly, they could release Logan Thomas, put some more money on the cap. They could restructure Kendall Fuller, put more money on the cap, or release Kendall Fuller and put more money on the cap. They could still go for a guy like Orlando Brown. They could easily go for Orlando Brown. You know what I'm saying? They still have enough money to do it. You know, depends on what he's looking for. But I think they're doing things smart. I think the Commanders are looking very, very well, doing the things that they need to do. So, hey, kudos to them and great for them. But we're going into day 3. So, I guess we'll see what the Commanders are going to do from their point on. Until then, guys, this is your boy LiveWire Sports Entertainment. I'm out. Peace.